Emmett Till would have been 80 today. His story still defines the ongoing fight for justice. In 2020, stories about young Black people like Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, as well as those of adults like George Floyd, spotlit the persistent, terrifying specter of unjust violence and the precarity of Black life in the United States. Their stories roused many in our country to outrage over their murders, and to a collective consciousness about the prevalence of race-based brutality in our day-to-day lives. But stories like these are not limited to 2020 and the few years that preceded it. Telling those stories is a crucial part of justice work. This month marks what would have been the birthday of another young Black person whose murder was woven into our history several decades ago. Some may learn about Till's story here for the first time. But today, on what would have been Till's 80th birthday, it is imperative that we tell his story again. In the summer of 1955, Till traveled south from his home in Chicago for a visit to extended family. According to his mother, Mamie Till-Mobley, he was full of energy and verve. Photographs of Till before she sent him off from Chicago show a beaming boy dressed in a crisp shirt, tie, and jaunty pork pie hat. Like millions of Black Chicagoans in the 20th century, Till's family had left the violence of the South as part of the Great Migration. There he played with friends, picked cotton, helped his great-aunt around the house, and, in the town of Money, Mississippi, made a fateful stop with his cousins to buy bubble gum at the store where Black sharecroppers' children often went to buy candy. After the boys walked out the door of Bryant's Grocery and Meat Market, the white woman who owned the store with her husband alleged that Till had flirted with her. 4 nights later, 2 white men, the husband and the brother-in-law of the accuser, came to the home where Till was staying. But it was not until 3 days after his murder that Till's naked body was pulled from the water. Mamie Till-Mobley insisted that her son's body be returned to Chicago. And when she saw him with her own eyes, his body made unrecognizable by the violence of racial hatred, Till-Mobley made an unspeakably brave choice. She decided that her 14-year-old child must be seen by mourners in an open casket. That was the decision that brought more than 100,000 people to the south side of Chicago to see what had been done to Emmett Till, a boy who had gone like so many others from Chicago and elsewhere to spend the summer with family. Countless more people saw Till and learned his story when photographs of the viewing were published in Jet magazine. 66 years later, Emmett Till's story remains harrowing but also emblematic. If there is hope, it lies in this truth: the story of Emmett Till became a sorrowful symbolic catalyst for further action in the American civil rights movement. Mamie Till-Mobley's bravery further empowered civil rights activists, and made them even more aflame with purpose, much as the bravery of the loved ones who chose to make known the stories of Arbery, Taylor, and too many others has galvanized more people in our country to fight for justice today. Those 2 men, like so many murderers before them, tried to bury the truth of what they had done and keep Till's body in the river. Till, whose accuser fabricated a depiction of him as sexually threatening, did not escape the character assassination that follows Black children when they are killed. Even those Black children who are not murdered but still terrorized, such as the teenage girl who was slammed into the ground by a police officer when she was at a pool party with her friends, are affected by the deadly myth that Black people are aggressors who bring violence upon themselves, that they somehow deserve extreme punishment, that their deaths are byproducts of reasonable actions. Till and his peers across the generations were murdered solely because they were young, Black, and full of life, as they were supposed to be. We cannot measure the collective loss of all these young people who never grew up, who never had the chance to lead, shape, and contribute to their families and communities as adults and elders. Their loved ones like Till-Mobley, who chose to bring to light the stories of their sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, cousins and nephews and nieces and grandchildren, know the unspeakable magnitude of their loss. It helped make that story visible when it held Till himself in September 1955, a moment made into a memorial and a call to action through the images in Jet magazine. If Emmett Till were 80 years old today, what is the life that he would have led?